in Troy Provo, Heron.
Hello, everybody, and greetings from the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. I'm Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, along with Donnie Moore, Troy Provo Heron, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Coach Ray Trail, and this is the Goatee Sports Page. Tennessee Vol Baseball is out of the gate, and we're going to the whistle blows. And now let's set today's lineup card, sponsored by Blunt Partnership. It's the University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Klein Dental Arts SEC Notebook, with volunteer football coaching legend Ray Trail, Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo Heron, and veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons. UT basketball will be in the limelight. Ex-Atlanta Brave pitcher Charlie Palaio will join the Goatee Sports Page crew. Donnie Moore will announce high school scores from around the area, and then Mark It Down with Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty, features Maryville Scots basketball as head coach Raul Placeres makes a sports page appearance. The Anderson Lumber Company High School Player of the Week segment will be in the lineup as Maryville High School girls basketball will be featured. Blount County Sports Hall of Famer Donnie Moore and the panel discuss sports headlines from around the country before the Tennessee Smokies spotlight shines on Tennessee baseball and Lady Vol basketball. And finally, the panel gives their shelter insurance bold predictions for the week. Marcus Fitzsimmons, we've changed the agenda a little bit, or the lineup from this week compared to some of the other weeks, because you got a Maryville Scott basketball coach in here, and he's got duties he's got to perform. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and we'll let you get out of the gate first this morning with Coach Raul Placeres from Maryville College.
Yeah, we're flexible here on the sports page.
Yeah.
Mike. We can adapt the game plan to meet the opposition, and opposition is time this morning.
That's
because
right. If nothing else, we're flexible.
Coach is fitting us in because he's got film session because they got a championship game to play this
that's
afternoon.
right.
So we're glad he could visit with us this morning. And especially after playing yesterday. We're in tournament time, so working us in is a real stretch for you, and we appreciate it, Coach. Get the 87-65 win in the semifinals yesterday over Piedmont. Set up today's game with Belhaven for the conference championship. Let's start with what went right yesterday, because that was a pretty impressive second-half win. You had a lead, and you come out and surged ahead, really kind of tied this away early.
You know, we're on a 9-game winning streak. We've been playing really well here in the last 6 weeks of the year. Shared the ball really well. We had 24 assists on 35 made field goals. We're plus 13 on the boards. Took care of the basketball and played really good defense. I think we're, in my lifetime as a coach, I think we're like 18 or 19-0 when we hold teams under 70 points. And yesterday was another game like that where we held the team to less than 70. So, man, shared it well, played good defense, and came out on top with a win.
Now, this team's used to being a number one seed coming into the conference tournament. New conference, basically a new tournament, kind of a new team, and you said it, 9-win streak, but so early January, middle January, y'all are 8-8.
Yeah.
And to run that off to 17-8, that's a nice streak. What's changed with this team, and how have they grown?
Yeah, first and foremost, we have a top 10 national schedule that we put on to start the year, and that was one of the reasons why we struggled early. I'm playing 6 freshmen in college basketball. That's really extremely hard to do and be successful, especially when you're playing the top teams at our level. We knew it was part of the journey of the season to play that tough schedule early so it can get us prepared for this final conference run. And we've done that again. We're 30-6, I think, in conference play in the last 3 years. We're 19-1 on the road. So having a tough non-conference schedule early on has prepared us for the success we've seen here in the last 6 to 7 weeks.
Well, the flip side of that, though, is if you can make that tough schedule, sometimes that bleeds over where the confidence isn't there. But you also kind of sidestep that a little bit. I mean, there may have been a little bit of a hangover from some of those tough games, but how do you get this team to take those as lessons rather than setbacks?
It starts with our best player, player of the year in the conference. He's a potential All-American at our level. Miles Rasnick, the Knoxville Web product, who transferred to us from ETSU. He's a 50-40. He's second in the country right now in free throw percentage, shooting 94%. I think he's made 39 of 40 free throws in conference play. He's been, fantastic for us. And, we got the leading rebounder in the league, a freshman, Jose Rodriguez from Concord Christian, a freshman leading the conference in rebounding at 7.9 rebounds a game. And we've done it with local kids. I was just talking to Charlie here a little while ago. We've got 10 local guys on the roster. How we've done it by staying consistent and just playing the next game. And the next game is being the biggest game. And that's what's going to happen today at 3 o'clock.
Well, you mentioned Miles. 19 points last night, hit the 1,000-point club from what we read. But really good defensive job last night against Piedmont's leading scorer. Jolly's coming off a 37-point game, and he finishes with 8 last night with Miles.
Well, our guys had a little bit of chip on their shoulder. We won the league by 3 games, and we only got one all-conference team player, and we got only 3 players total. And there were teams in the league that didn't have a good year, and we had as many all-conference guys as them. Miles had more steals and 16 more blocks than the defensive player of the year in our league. He had a chip on his shoulder to come in and prove that, he is one, in my opinion, the best two-way player in our league and one of the best two-way players in the country. But, we're really excited and fortunate to be in this position to play for another conference championship after our 3rd consecutive regular season title, and have an opportunity to play in the national tournament come selection Monday for us at our level this Monday. So big game coming up right now at 3 o'clock.
Well, talk a little bit about, it's a new conference, the Collegiate Conference of the South. It's a lot of familiar faces, but there's also some new ones in there. How did this conference schedule kind of match up to what you all were playing a season ago
it's
or
about,
2 seasons ago?
Yeah, it's about the same. You can compare it to a little bit of the old, what Coach Lambert created when he created the Great South Athletic Conference. You've substituted Bellhaven for a Fisk. And basically it's the same Piedmont, LaGrange, just those same teams. Just a little bit more travel, obviously having to go to Jackson, Mississippi. That's a long bus ride. That's the crazy thing about this year. We've traveled close to 7,000 miles with the schedule that we've done. And we're not doing that on a plane. We're doing that on a bus. Okay, so, it's one of those things. It's part of the experience of this level, and we've had a great time. We've played in some incredible tournaments all over the country. And, again, fortunate to be in a program that values the basketball program and wants to give our players and our kids the best experience possible.
Well, you mentioned something I've been curious about. The long trips and the long bus rides. Once upon a time, we won't say a long time ago, once upon a time, like when you were playing.
Hey, man, it's a long time ago. That was 20 years ago. All right.
But when you all took a road trip, you all missed class, and you just had to make it up, and, you had to go talk to professors and all that. These guys now, with the bus on Wi-Fi, they can actually go class on those road trips, and they don't have the excuse that you used to have of, we were in the van going to LaGrange.
No question. They're very fortunate to have all those, I guess the internet access that they have on the big buses and all that. So there is no excuse for you not to do your academic work and be successful at that. And we have all the resources at the college when we do go on the road for them to catch up on their schoolwork. So, again, man, we have everything in place for student athletes to be successful. So, really proud of our institution for providing that service for our kids.
Does it change something for the coach's perspective? Because before, you just had to tell the guys, do your homework, keep up. Now you actually have the position where, you can kind of walk up and down the bus aisle and see who's sleeping, see who's doing what.
Yeah, I don't blame them for sleeping though. Those trips are some long trips, but no, we got a great group of kids, and I can't complain. I'm blessed and fortunate to have a great group of guys that buy in on both ends, right? Buy in on the floor and in the classroom as well as students.
Well, let me give you a chance. You mentioned the 6 freshmen. Talk a little bit about this freshman class and what each one of them is bringing along.
We had the 6th man of the year in Chase Morgan out of Concord Christian High School. He's a Lenore City kid. Jackson Garner, who was a 2,000-point scorer, Mr. Basketball finalist in the state of Tennessee for us, went to Clinton High School. He started for us a lot this year, averaged double figures in league play, had 15 points last night on 5 of 10 from 3. Jose Rodriguez, like I stated before, led the league in rebound as a 6'2 freshman, by the way. Now he's 6'2", 225. Coach Fox may be asking him to play a little bit of running back, tailback for him. But, and then we had Logan Patterson, state tournament MVP in the state of Alabama, played at Section High School in Alabama. who's been good for us. R.J. Simmons from Atlanta, Whitfield Academy. Jalen Green, point guard from Knoxville Webb. I'm probably missing somebody, but those are 5, 6 guys that stand out freshman-wise. And Cordell Kay, state champion from the Bearden High School team that had Quest Glover, Drew Pember, all those guys on our team. We had the transfer that you guys had in here earlier from Louisville, Kentucky, Charlie Cochran, who's been fantastic for us, leads the league in double-doubles with 7 double-doubles. And, Darryl Rice played at Sandy Creek High School down in Georgia, a big-time program in the Atlanta area. And then, and then our guy, in my opinion, I was okay. I was an okay player back in my day. I think he's the best player who's ever donned our jersey at the college. He scored over 1,000 points in less than 2.5 seasons, while shooting 50, 40, 90 from the field. That is remarkable. And being the defensive player of the year as well. He guards the best player on the opposing team every game. He'll have to do that tonight. And to me, that makes him, in my opinion, one of the best who's ever played at the college. And I've been fortunate and really lucky to have a front row seat to coach the young man because he's been fantastic.
And you're going to be expecting a lot from him tonight, this afternoon.
Yeah.
A couple hours from now.
You're only as good as your Jimmy and Joes, like you guys know, and the game plan will be there. These types of games, the other team is also excited. They're saying the same things. It's a matter of what you can do on the floor for a consistent 40 minutes. And, our trademark has been defense, rebounding, and execution, right? And if you do that, you give yourself a really good chance to win a ball game.
How have you all matched up with Belhaven during the regular season this year?
Oh, we were fortunate. We beat them by 30-plus at home. I think we beat them by 31 at home early in January, and then we had to travel to their place and led through first 39 minutes and I think 40 seconds of the game, and they took their first lead with 10 seconds to go. And then we ended up hitting a buzzer beater to beat them at their place. And that's a tough trip because that's a 9.5-hour trip, and to hold the lead for that long. So obviously they're – how they say it's tough to beat a team 3 times, but I think I'm a believer that it's also tough to just beat a team 1 time. So, we look forward to the challenge today. This is what college basketball is all about. We're the number 1 seed. They're the number 2 seed. And we got a chance to win another conference championship and the possibility of going to the national tournament for our first Pool C bid in the history of our program. Before we would only get Pool B bids. It's a lot different. Coach went to 12 straight NCAA tournaments because you were only competing against 10 or 12 teams nationally because we were independent. Now you're competing over 360 schools, nationwide. So it would be a great feat for us if we can finish it off by winning tonight and then having a chance when Selection Monday comes out that our name is called and get into the national tournament.
It's different when there wasn't an AQ you all could play for, not going back to that kind of situation with the new conference. And hopefully that's going to resolve itself in the short term.
Yeah.
But it does put you in a bigger pool where you got to make that splash. And what you all have done scheduling wise and what your successes out there, but also today's all important because there's very few of those bids that ever go out to somebody that's just
it's really tough. And there's bid thieves. Everyone's playing conference championships today. You hope that all the guys that are the favorites win today. But again, it's the life lesson that we've been teaching our kids all year. Like, you can control what you can control, and what we control today is what we do at 3 o'clock, from 3 to about 5 o'clock. If we make the tournament or not, if it's in God's will that we make it and the numbers shake out, good for us. And if it doesn't, it doesn't.
How many teams do they take to the
Only
tournament?
20. So there's 44 automatic qualifiers. That's 6%. So 6% of the entire country gets an at-large. You know how hard that is?
Is there any lobbying to get that expanded? Because it seems to me like every year, of course, it's been going on for a long time.
Right.
A lot of good teams don't get a shot.
That was us. We were 20-4 last year and 11th in the country, and we didn't go to the national tournament.
Crazy.
But, it's the formula. You accept it. It is what it is. You make no excuses for it. We've had plenty of opportunities. If we don't make it, we've played the best of the best. And we've had some great quality wins, and we've had some games that we didn't win. And you can't harp on it. It's where we're at. But, again, super excited about the opportunity today. And, God willing, we can get it done and, maybe go dancing for a week or so.
Yeah.
And you've given me the perfect segue here because you've been there and kind of done this, but it's always kind of curious to me is between that Saturday and sometimes these have been Saturday night conference championship games, and when the selection comes out, that's got to be the longest 24, 27 hours for a player's life.
Yeah. at least the players can go out and have a good time. You know, I'm married and I got a daughter, so I'll be going home and just looking at numbers and seeing where we stack up. But for me, it's more nerve-wracking. But, you know, I kind of know where we're at. We're right there. We're right there. You know, there's probably about 22 to 23 teams vying for those 20 slots. We're one of those teams. We need some help here and there today. But again, man, what an exciting time for our program again, and hopefully we can get it done.
It'd be a lot more exciting if you was just worrying about what seed you were going to be instead of just going to get into the tournament. For sure.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
Oh, well, Division III, it's not your seed. It's how far they're going to send you.
Yeah,
No question.
yes,
500 miles. 500 miles. You get on a plane if it's more than 500 miles. If it's not.
You all don't get to get on a plane for a conference game that's 500 miles.
And I remember when we went to the Sweet 16, my junior year when I played, we were 499 miles away from Worcester. We didn't get a plane ride. You know, we had to get on the bus. So, hey, I'll tell you this. I'd rather take the 499-mile trek on a bus and know that we're in the NCAA tournament. So,
Sure. Any day.
Any day of the week. So,
Well, we're going to hope for you, and we're going to hope that you get a good location to go to because, you know, you can get in and you can have everything going right, and then you can end up in the basement of the athletic center while the tornado goes overhead.
no question.
What the Lady Scots did a couple years ago. So, can we get you back if y'all make a good run? Can we come in and?
Man, we feel, I mean this wholeheartedly, because we've tested ourselves. If we're fortunate enough to get to the NCAA tournament, I think we're as dangerous as any team in the country. I mean that. We've played everybody. There's 10 regions in Division III. We've played the top 5 of the top 10 teams in the region. And, you know, we've beaten some of those as well. So we feel great. We've beaten 2 conference champions already. We've tested ourselves against the very best, and that's what I've always wanted to do. I've been fortunate that my AD has let me travel as much as we can at our level. Our president is all bought in about, you know, making sports a priority and making our program a priority by doing these things. So I'm extremely, you know, blessed and humbled that they trust in me to do these things and provide these experiences for my players. And I think that's why we're getting the quality of player 2 coming into our program. Wait till you see our recruiting class coming in. I'm really excited about what we've done in this year's recruiting class as well to join this really special group of, you know, young players. We've done it with 6 freshmen now. I don't care what level it is. When you're able to do what we've done with that type of youth, you got some good players.
You certainly do at that. And like I said, we appreciate you coming in. We know you got film to get to and some work to do. So we appreciate
I would
your
feel
time.
really good if I had the Greenville sniper with what do we call you, Mike?
The Greenfield Gunner.
The Greenfield Gunner. If we had the gunner today, we'd be all right from 3.
I got one more question. Who picks these teams? Do they have certain?
It's a national.
Do they have certain individuals from different parts of the country so that it's a level field when they go to pick these 20 teams or so?
You know, the crazy thing about it is my athletic director is the national chair of the committee, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's also a tough thing because now, you know, you don't want them to think that, oh, she's pulling one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm also on the committee, the regional committee, which obviously it just throws the information out, 4 different coaches that throw the information out and then it goes to the national committee. But again, man, at the end of the day, the formula, the numbers dictate if you make it or if you don't. And all the Scots can do today, by God, is to win at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, listen, good luck to you, and congratulations on your year. And hopefully it won't end anytime soon, that we can have you back on and down the road.
Keep your cell phone on. If we need a shooter there late, I'm going to give you a call.
Well, I'll tell you what, I might be able to help you out there, but you're not going to get any defense out. I know he mentioned defense, and I just said, well, you know, I better be looking somewhere else.
Yes, he took his mic off when I said defense.
Absolutely.
Or giving up the basketball.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, it's time to turn the page, and next up is the local scoreboard with Goatee Sports Page veteran Donnie Moore and the University of Tennessee Sports Report. You're listening to the Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union. With KTBA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply.
The Bluetick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Bluetick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Bluetick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards along with the rest of our broadcast crew, and now it's time for the local scoreboard sponsored by Mandy B. Street Realty. And Donnie Moore, I'm going to turn it over to you. We had some first-round games last night and a few upsets and a few blowouts and a little bit for everybody here, huh?
Lots of action in the quarterfinal regional action last night on the girls' side. And well, let's get right to it. We'll start with the Lady Cherokees of Greenback. They went to Oneida last night, a familiar foe for the Lady Cherokees, and they were not happy with the result last night. They took one on the chin last night. Only managed to score 20 points up at Oneida. The Cherokees at the Indians last night. So Greenback scored 20, but Oneida scored 62. So yeah, 62 to 20.
It's that kind of night.
It was that kind of night up at Oneida last night.
Oh,
so
that sounds like an Alcoa football game.
Yeah. It does, doesn't it?
The first half score.
First half score. So I guess that ends Greenback's season.
They're done.
They're done. So stick a fork in them. TKA hosted Providence Christian Academy last night. Anybody know where that is?
No. Providence, Rhode Island?
Providence, Rhode Island.
No.
I think it has to be in Tennessee, Charlie.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, Providence came calling at the Kings Academy last night, and this one was a high-scoring affair on both sides. Kings Academy won this one 71-62 last night.
That sounds like a basketball score.
Yeah, that does sound like a true basketball score.
That's right. It sounded like we got them down
Yeah,
the floor and made some points.
sure
Well,
did.
wait till you hear the rest of them.
Yeah. So Kings Academy advances and lives to fight another day. So good job, Kings Academy. Seymour hosted Scott last night. Don't ask me Scott who, because I don't. Scott County. It was
Oneida?
Scott County. Is that in Oneida?
I don't know. That's just somewhere.
Let's go with Scott County.
We'll go with Scott County. And so Lady Eagles won and lived to fight another day, 53-32. Another 20-plus point victory last night.
That's big for them.
That is big for them.
You've got those in Tennessee's format. You've got those 2 games you got to win after district.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterfinal and semifinal.
Quarters
So that's
and
one of the
semis.
2 they need.
They sure did. They needed that one badly and won it with confidence last night. So congratulations to Seymour. Alcoa hosted last night. West Green was their victim last night, and West Green usually has a pretty good basketball team.
Green County
So they
schools
left
usually
it in
good.
West
Yeah.
Green, I think, last night.
I think they did leave it in West Green last night. Green County, 72 for the Lady. Wow, for the Lady Tornadoes. West Green only managed to score 19 points in that basketball game.
Wow.
Well,
Three touchdowns and an extra point.
Yeah.
You got to give. I think we make a lot about the 19 points, but I think you got to give Alcoa. They've got one of the better. They've got one of the better girls teams in the area now. Them and Beard and
Despite losing Macy Ridge,
they've got a good
which was
team.
Those easy games are over now.
Yeah,
well, that's
I
true.
think so
Well,
too.
the matchup problem comes into play, and I think that's what happened to West Green a little bit.
Yeah.
Was, if you're giving up size at every position to Alcoa, you're
Yes.
going to have a really long night.
Yeah, you are, and they did. So that ends West Green's season. Over at Heritage last night, Charlie, you were there.
Yeah.
That was a good ball game. Well, it was for Heritage anyway. Heritage scored 74 points versus Campbell County's 35 last night.
Yeah.
What impressed you?
Well, Heritage broke it open. They pressed them, and they Campbell
As
County,
they do frequently.
They couldn't get the ball. And the Heritage scored, I think, 4 straight steals on a press on the inbounds pass, and scored 8 straight points and just broke the game open in the second quarter. And by halftime, it was really just about over.
Pretty much.
But Carson Swaney and the Gardner girl both shot the ball very well. A good performance by Heritage.
Yeah.
Stan Painter would have called an adios in the second quarter.
I think so.
By halftime,
Yeah.
I guess.
Some of these games, sort of looks like, the first round of the playoffs in football.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder, maybe the district tournament should be the ending of some of these games and teams rather than carrying them on over to the – I don't know whether you're doing them that much good. They come out of the district tournament and they've lost a couple of games there, so they go into the region tournament. So they end up losing 3 games, in a lot of cases to end the year. I don't really know whether that's a good thing.
When we had just 2 classifications, I could kind of understand the TSSAA argument that, okay, well, we've got some of these districts that are really good and some that are not, and this is how we balance it out and that sort of thing. But at this point, now that we got 4 classifications and no private, just 4 public classifications, not counting private schools. I mean, it's one way or the other, because now you've got 6 classifications running. Mm-hmm. Do you really need to give them the chance to make region without finishing top of the district?
Well, now Heritage Campbell County was the 2 versus 3 seed, right, Charlie?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now the other game was the Maryville versus Oak Ridge, and that was the 4 versus the 1 seed, and so this one was a pretty big upset. Maryville goes to Oak Ridge last night and upsets Oak Ridge 59-51. Now that's pretty good sized upset right there.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk going through the stands last night. People, when they heard the scores of that game as they was progressing. Mm-hmm. And but Maryville's supposed to be playing pretty good lately. At the end of the year, they've played well.
You can tell by the score right there. Maryville upsets Oak Ridge 59-51, which sets up Heritage versus Maryville
Monday night
showdown.
6 o'clock.
Yeah, Monday night at 6 o'clock.
At Heritage, is that right, or is that on a neutral floor?
Well, Heritage is the higher seed.
I would say it's at Heritage. Yeah.
No, it's at Bearden. Bearden's the
At Bearden.
The
Bearden
region
is,
host?
Bearden is the region host.
Bearden's the region host in
Yeah,
semifinals
so it'll be-
and
it'll be
finals.
at
will play
So
Bearden.
the winner of that game advances
Yeah.
to the region final.
At Bearden.
That's right.
If you win the region semifinal, you've guaranteed yourself a spot in the region championship
And a sub-state game.
and in the state sectional game.
Right. So
a big game.
that'll be at
Yeah.
Bearden, and that's going to be a big game.
Yeah, Heritage got a pretty good team. I mean,
Blunt County teams right there.
Yeah.
But only one of them can come out of that.
Only one of them.
So Heritage could conceivably lose 2 games, still be in the state tournament, and be in the sectional, and if they had to travel, win that game and go to the state tournament with 2 losses.
If you count the district championship
Yes,
loss to
yes,
Bearden.
yes.
Postseason,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
I would
Yeah,
think so.
district championship. Yeah.
That's
So,
the way it's always been.
Yeah.
As much as we've talked about
And there's
this
an
over
argument
the years,
there, or if you're state tournament and lost games, is that a state champion or what kind of tournament is
Are
that?
you a
I
true
don't know.
state champion?
Well, if you come down to it, because conceivably, and you could think about this, Heritage could play Bearden in the state championship game for the 5th time they've met this year.
and lose all and get beat 5 straight times and still be in the state championship.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Golly.
All right, tonight's action features the boys quarterfinals. Greenback goes to Oliver Springs. Alcoa hosts Johnson County. Yeah, Johnson County, way up northeast Tennessee, up near.
Isn't that a football arrangement? I didn't know that carried over to basketball as well.
It does. Carries
Okay.
over into basketball, too.
The Longhorns.
Is that the team?
The
that-
Longhorns,
Is
that's
that
right.
the team that when they came here to play football, there was like 13 people in the stands across from in the playoff
If
game?
that many, Charlie.
Was that the one?
Everybody else had to work at the prison.
Yeah, if that many. Seymour travels to Anderson County to take on the Mavericks.
That's going to be a good game.
It should be, yes, I agree. And over at William Blunt, if you want to go over to William Blunt tonight and stay local to see a basketball game, William Blunt hosts Knox West.
And William Blunt, you said, is a heavy favorite in this game.
William Blunt will be a heavy
West
favorite.
used to have a pretty good team.
West used to have a good
Yeah.
team, but they don't have a great team now.
West and Bearden hardly are ever good.
That's
at the
the
same
one
time.
versus the 4.
Okay. Well, you look what happened to the girls' side.
That's true. You
William
never
Blunt
know.
needs to play well. They
In
do.
a region tournament, you never know. You never know. So
Just
that's-
everybody stay
that's
in the. If
tonight's
you go to
action.
the game, stay in the stands. Don't
yeah.
don't run on the
I'll
court.
tell you about that later.
Okay.
We'll cover that a little bit later. I've got that in the headlines. So, yeah.
I do want to. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
I want to mention that Jeremy Henderson, William Blunt, one of my former players, and we mentioned him last week.
Yes, we did.
Head coach at Sweetwater High School, and they went for their district championship game last Saturday, won it, and they are in the region, and they are playing Polk County at home tonight. So
Jeremy was the big, tall kid, wasn't he?
He was.
And
Still is pretty tall.
Yeah.
and the good thing about this, they're playing Polk County at home.
Yeah.
Because Polk County, I passed that place on the way to get that dog on the way to Deliverance last week.
I heard
and I'm telling you,
Did you hear that story, Charlie?
that was a real trip down there. And I saw Polk County, and I'm going, oh boy, I'm telling
I
you,
heard
that's
Troy told me the dog story
yeah,
last night.
Yeah. I'd have come and saw you, but I was a long way from Atlanta, buddy.
You
a long
sure
way
were.
from Atlanta.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
You were a long way from anywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
I hope
Pretty
Jeremy
much.
and I
like
hope
an
Jeremy,
episode of the Twilight Zone. What that was.
Hope Jeremy and his Wildcats poke the Polk County people.
Yeah. Well, like to see his team go on down there. He's done a great job, and of course, he's also the athletic director down
He
there.
sure
So,
is.
being the athletic director and the basketball coach, your job's pretty secure, I would think.
I would think so.
Yeah.
It's pretty big. He stays pretty busy too.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Are we ready for some UT basketball here?
I am.
Okay. Hey, and now it's time for the UT Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Klein Dental Arts SEC Notebook, featuring former assistant football coach Ray Trail, Daily Times sports editor Troy Provo-Hare, and veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons, and ex-Atlanta Brave pitcher Charlie Paleo.
Yeah, glad to have Charlie here today.
Hey,
make a trip
Tennessee,
north.
we mentioned last week, golly, how important these 2 games were, Coach Trail to the Tennessee basketball team, traveling up to Kentucky and then going to Texas A&M, and by golly, they didn't get either one of them, and now they've lost 5 of their last 7 games, and things are starting to kind of go south with them. And the way they play, it's a fine line of whether you win or lose. They could have come back. They came back in the Kentucky game. I think had it down to 8 after spotting Kentucky 20 points at the half. And then Texas A&M, it went right down, another nail-biter right down to the wire that they didn't get. And you can expect those games with the type of play that they're playing. They're going to be close games. If you're going to put it all on defense and you got no transition game and you're not scoring a lot of points, they're going to be nail-biters right down to the end, huh? It's tough to watch.
If you don't score many points in basketball, you're normally on the short end.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know it. It's a boring game when you go out there and go up and down the floor, pass the ball around, and get nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh! Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't play on a team like that. I mean, the object is the Mike Edwards theory is you got to put it in the hole.
You take your ball and go home.
Well,
yeah, I'm right. I play with somebody else.
Everybody's kind of everybody's kind of scratching their heads. Even Coach over at UT, Coach Barnes, scratching his arm. He said, "If I knew what to do, I'd do it." But
he would.
I think it's pretty simple. I mean, he's wants them to play dog-eat-dog defense. That's what our coach in high school used to call it. Dog-eat-dog defense down there. Just wear yourself out, making them wear themselves out on offense. And don't run any transition game. Don't run any transition game. We're not going to get any easy points. Walk the ball up the court and then take the majority of the time clock and make them work hard on defense, try to shorten the game, and hopefully come out at the end. With that deal in mind, no transition, no easy buckets. It's going to be a hard go, isn't it?
Well, there's no doubt offensively they're challenged right now with James and Phillips out, which has been big in these last couple weeks. But, hey, they've got what he got. He has what he wants. He's got some of the best numbers in the country defensively. I mean, stat-wise, they're ranked in the top in the SEC or in some crazy stat. I don't know. I tried to figure it out, but I couldn't. Some analytic stuff. But I just don't see how you could, the object to me for them would be to score 70 points a game and you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
And that's when they get beat, when they're scoring in the 50s because, they're holding teams to 60 points, but they can't get 70.
Yeah. Marcus, another problem outside of not having a transition game and easy buckets is the fact they're not going to the foul line as many times in most games that they should be going. Now, they did go to the foul line, I think, in the Kentucky game, 20-some times, but they only hit 4 of them. Which was just that was a backbreaker. But in most games, they're going 14 times, 12 times, 10 times. They don't have anybody on the perimeter that's going south with the basketball to the bucket where they can draw the fouls. Texas A&M the other night, after the game, you look and say, well, they went to the free throw line X number of times.
34. They
went 34 times, and Tennessee went 14 times. And you're saying, well, there's the ball game. Well, basically it is. But who was taking the basketball to the goal, Marcus? Well, Texas A&M.
That's exactly right. And you look at the Rick Barnes teams that have been successful, and even when Tennessee – a month ago when they were looking so good, they were taking the ball towards the basket. The offense was giving that, and I think that's partially James not being there because he gave them that kind of look and he gave them that kind of ability. And I think his presence encourages guys to do that when he's on the floor. But it's not the whole reason. There's some aggressiveness and settling for threes that Tennessee has been doing, and it's costing them because they're not as effective at 3, and they're not getting the foul line when they just jack it up.
Well, without 3-4 shots, Charlie, they're very streaky.
Well,
Escoffitt can be good, but he can be streaky.
Yeah.
And the same with Key. Key can be lights out, and then he can be, where is he?
Well, that's the thing that gets
lights out. Both ways.
That's the thing that's been Barnes' history.
Nobody's home.
That's right.
In his coaching tenure at Tennessee, is the perimeter game is his offense. Well, what's been missing every team he's had here? A big man inside that can score consistently. When you don't have that perimeter game, throw the ball inside and get some easy points. Like you said, no transition game, half-court offense. It's all perimeter. I mean, there's nothing inside.
Yeah.
And he's never had that. Where is the big guy that they need over there?
And the word that you used right there, inconsistent, Coach Trail, that's a big word with this team because the fast break is inconsistent. The offense is inconsistent. You really don't know what you get. And now the defense is inconsistent because, at Kentucky, they gave up 39 points the first half, was down 20. They didn't play very well defensively. Yeah. The second half, they played a lot better defensively. Down at Texas A&M, pretty good the first half, but it's hard to maintain that, what I'm saying, for 40 minutes on a consistent basis. So they got inconsistencies all over the place right now.
Well, the thing is, you can play this if you've got extra people to go in and substitute people the way you want to. It's like playing man-to-man in football out there. That guy, if he's guarding somebody, a great player, you better get him some help or he's going to get beat deep and, on the long pass because he's just going to be a step late and getting there. You can't do it all the whole game.
Right, exactly.
And that's the same thing it is in basketball. I'm not a basketball coach, in which I've said before, but I can see the difference in speed up and down the floor.
You can't run, Charlie Paleo. You can't run a transition game playing as tough a defense as they're playing down at that other end. You'll wear yourself.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. You won't have anything down there on the offensive end, and I think that's part of it. I want to talk a little bit about Santiago Vescovi. In both games, he brought them back. He brought them back against Kentucky. He brought them back against Texas A&M. Get right down to the gut-checking time, the last 2 minutes of the game where you really need somebody to score, and here's a guy that's put you there. He didn't even see the ball.
No.
I don't understand what went on there. What was the mentality? Seems like that's the guy you'd want to go to. He's got the hot hand.
I would think on that team, he is the best shooter, when it comes to crunch time. James has had some big shots over the last couple of years. But I agree. I think the ball should be in his hands at the end of the game. Get him a shot. And he's over that foul line thing he had going where he couldn't hit a shot down the stretch. He's over that now. He's making his free throws. Put the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
He should.
Yeah. I was a little surprised the other night with right there at the end of the game where you had Ziegler taking the ball inside.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's gotten into a real habit of taking that ball right in there to the trees. You want somebody taking the ball to the goal, but he's not going to draw many fouls with his size in there. And I thought there at the end he got away with one right there that cut it to 1 in the Texas A&M game. But, I don't know. That's risky business in there, taking it in there.
In coaching, you got to coach not what you want, but what you got. You have got to be able to change your coaching style to fit your players. You cannot make your players fit the coach because they've been doing this for so long and they played this for long. They can't change it.
Yeah.
I mean, you come off a team that's we're making 60, 80, 90 points a game, and you want to come in and make 6, 5? No. I mean, I thought that was the game of basketball. You put it in the hole. You don't play defense and say, well, they didn't score but this much. But in football, you want to score and figure out a way to do it. You don't win much playing just defense.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Tony Hinkle, the great Butler University basketball coach that was there for forever, was always on the high school broadcasts for the state tournament. They'd have 14,000 people at the game, and then they'd have the game on TV. And every year, Tom Carnegie would say, well, who's going to win tonight, Tony? Is it going to be Muncie Central or is it going to be Anderson? And he'd go, I don't know, Tom, but I'll tell you this. The team that puts the ball through the hoop the most is going to win the ball game. Every year that's what he would come up with. But, I hate to go back to my dad, but I'll tell you what. Last week I talked a little bit about him, and if he was here, he'd say, well, Tennessee's just playing good enough to get beat, Charlie. Pretty much just playing good enough to get beat. And I got to ask this question, and Charlie, maybe because you've been on the diamond and you've been in situations. Is this situation with Tennessee right now where they've lost 5 out of 7, is it mental? Is it physical? Is it coaching, or is it just maybe that they've had a disruption in personnel because of injuries, or is it a combination of the whole gamut?
I think disruption in personnel and the flow of the game and the chemistry of the guys that are on the court. I mean, James is a legitimate, first or second team SEC player when he's playing well. I mean, he's that good. And the Phillips kid is a highly rated freshman, had some good games for him. I mean, he hasn't been the kid from Alabama, is it Miller? He hasn't been the superstar freshman, but two good players that are missing. And I think that's the main thing right now. If they can get those two back, before tournament time and get a couple games under their belt going into the tournament, I think you'll see a Tennessee team that was ranked in the top 10 for the most of the year.
Yeah.
Well, you also got to kick in. I mean, we said this early on in the season. Their final 10-game stretch in conference play was going to be the toughest run of the season. Well, they're in that, and I don't think it's any surprise that they've dropped 4 games in that stretch. Now, there's a game in there, the first game against Kentucky, that I wouldn't have counted on, but, when you've got that back end where you've got Alabama, you've got Kentucky, you've got Auburn twice, that you've got A&M on the road, that was going to be a tough stretch to begin with. So Mike was talking at one point about, what do they have to do to get in contention for the number 1 spot in the conference tournament. That stretch, I've always said, was not going to let them do it. That was too tough a stretch for this Tennessee team. You can't win on defense in all 10 of those games.
Yeah. Something that bothers me a little bit, Coach Trail, maybe you guys have noticed it too, when the game is on the line, and it's nut-cracking time, so to speak, I don't see any sense of urgency out there. It looks like they're just playing the same, way they were been playing the entire basketball game. And when you get down to that last minute or 2 minutes, you gotta up your level, don't you? I mean, you gotta up your level, and you gotta say, hey, this game's on the line. The urgency's there. We gotta pick it up a notch, huh? I'm just not seeing that right now in some of these games. You okay?
I'm the coach.
A little visual effect.
Visual effect of Ray Trail standing on with his
hands in his pocket.
That's all I see.
Yeah.
Looking around, he's looking there, and he's got his hands both in his pockets. And
he's holding on to something.
Something. I don't know what he's done, but
Tennessee is overly composed.
He's afraid he's going to lose something down there.
I tell you what, if he can hold on to that back there, he don't need to be coaching.
Where's Lonnie right now on this?
I don't want to lose this game.
But
go ahead.
The downside to the style Barnes plays, where it's very much about composure and defense and controlled mayhem, and it's the shove to aggravate somebody. It's not so much to shove them; it's to get them off their game. All those little things, but it's necessitated by this composure that they don't look like they're not hangdog when they're down either, but they've got no sense of urgency when there's 2 minutes to go.
Right. I'm not seeing it.
That's what I'm talking about. He walks around with his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
I mean, you see these coaches, they're grabbing a board or something to write on, and they get the guys all, we all writing here and doing this, and he's sitting around with his hands in his pockets.
He's trying to figure it out. I guess.
I don't know, but I mean, he don't have nothing to say to him. I don't understand that.
Charlie, I want to comment a little bit about the job that Buzz Williams has done at Texas A&M. He's done a heck of a job with that program this year. Still got a chance at winning the regular season championship. Got 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys, 8 guys that can play. No real bigs on the inside. They play bigger because they jump well. Yeah, but they got transition. They play good defense, solid, don't make turnovers. He's done a heck of a job with Texas A&M in that program down there.
And I think they've got a number of guys that are threats. You know what I mean? There's not just one guy that you got to stop on that team. You got to stop all 5 of them.
Yeah.
Offensively, to keep them from going. To me, were they not even ranked when they played Tennessee?
No. Huh.
Right. They were not even in the top 25.
No.
And here's a team that's 13-2 in the league?
Yeah.
How could you not be ranked and you're 13-2 in the Southeast Conference?
I don't want to play them.
No.
I don't want to play them. Now, they're a team that's got a lot of poise. I think Missouri and Texas A&M play a lot alike. You know, they've got the same type of personnel, you know, and they get after you, and they're balanced. They run transition. They can mix up their defense a little bit. They can play man. They can play zone. And I think both those teams look alike. Anyway, Charlie, it doesn't get any easier. Tennessee's got South Carolina today, and you think, well, that should be a pushover, but they just about beat Alabama the other night, had them on the ropes. And then they got Arkansas coming in here that's got everybody healthy again, and they're going to make a run, and then Auburn. And you've got an SEC standings where everybody's trying to get that double bye, and in line for that, you got Kentucky 10-5, Tennessee 9-6, Auburn 9-6, Missouri 8-7, Arkansas 8-7, Vanderbilt 8-7. You got 6 teams going for that double bye here in the next week. Four get it. Four get it. Top four. That's.
Would you ever have thought that you look back at Tennessee was ranked as high as number 2?
Yes.
You know, that you would look at the league standings and they'd be one game ahead of Vanderbilt in the standings, the way the season started, which is, to me, is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to play for.
And Kentucky, the way they started.
Yes,
you know,
they're 10-5.
how they've come back.
They're pretty good. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's still a lot for Tennessee to really play for. But to me, the big things, will James play any more the rest of the year? No. Will Phillips come back and play?
I'm not sure he will.
You know?
And see, the thing about it, they say, well, if we can get Josiah James back, that's going to really help us. They really miss him. But Charlie, he ain't played very much. How do we really know what he can do?
No.
I
well,
mean, we know what he can do based on last year.
Right. Yeah.
Last year.
But how much is he going to be able to contribute here?
He's just for me, he's just another serious, at least an offensive threat that somebody can hit a shot for him when they need it.
Right.
And he's one of their better rebounders, too, defensively.
Well, we know he's going to be able to guard somebody. Because if he don't guard anybody, you know where he's going to be.
On the bench.
He's going to be on the bench. That's for sure. Marcus, have we got any more time here? Or are we running out?
You got 7 minutes.
Okay. Marcus, talk about where Tennessee, seeding-wise. You know, they fell out of the top 10 last week. They're 11. That's their lowest ranking in a while. Where do you have them in the tournament right now? What seed in the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think most people have dropped them from a 2 to a 3 or a 4, and they're not on that, you know, moving towards the bubble thing, but they're definitely on that part where people are wondering. There's a lot of other teams that are hoping Tennessee continues to struggle, because they want that. They want those seeds that Tennessee is looking at.
And they're going to have to play some pretty good teams in the NCAA tournament too.
But, you know, momentum-wise has as much to do with seeding as anything else. It's, you know, what you've done along the way and what your numbers say, but also there's a little bit of that eyeball test of, you know, is this the Tennessee team that went through and won the conference tournament last year? I mean, if Tennessee were to turn it around and win the conference tournament, who's to say they're not still a 2 seed?
I saw one of the bracketologies, Lenardi, had Tennessee playing Iona in the first round. And then, of course, Rick Pitino is at Iona.
Yeah.
You know, that to me would be a game I don't know whether I'd want to play. If you're playing Waller ball, where you're just going down and playing defense with no transition game and you're coming back and playing offense, and you're just playing offense, I would think a Rick Pitino would love a game like that with a real underdog team. That would give him a chance for sure.
Isn't he the originator of the, you know, using the 3-point shot to win games way back when he first started? You know, whole different game.
And that's the worst thing.
Waller ball.
Ball.
Can you explain that one?
We've got Waller ball over here. That's where you go down and you play dog-eat-dog defense, no transition game, walk it up, and then run the clock on offense all the way down to the end, and then take your shot. And everybody just sits there like this with their fingers in their mouth the entire game, hoping that you can pull it out.
Or with their hands in their pockets.
Isn't that pretty much the way it is, Coach?
Yeah.
Huh?
Get your hands in your pocket.
And people, to start the year, when they were playing all those teams, they were running up the score. They were going to the refrigerator and getting Cokes and Kool-Aid and all of that. Now they go get liquor. You know what I'm saying? They're off the Cokes. They go get liquor and beer, you know. Huh?
Put bourbon in those Cokes.
You know, we've come
throw in a few pills.
This show has come a long way. This is the first time I've ever seen visual effects practice with Coach Trail.
He looked pretty good.
It was like he looked like that Sunday on the NFL where they get in the middle of the field, they demonstrate stuff.
Yeah.
And his eyes, he had those carp eyes, like he didn't know what was going on. Big old eyes. You know, sort of like when you call a timeout and you bring your team over and they're all glazed over. You know what I'm saying? And you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. And then Waller ball. We got Waller ball.
Yeah. And then if you're looking at the SEC, it's brutal ball. Brutal ball, you know.
And that's
ram it in there,
so
dunk
frustrating about this team, though. That Waller ball, you can beat a Texas. You can beat a Kansas.
Alabama.
You can beat an Alabama.
Yeah.
But then you can turn around
Absolutely.
and you can lose to somebody from a mid-major conference
Absolutely.
because they had a hot night.
That's exactly right.
That's why you can't. How could you bet on Tennessee in the postseason?
It's Woody Hayes and Bo Schemblecker and 3 yards
Tennessee
and
might be better
yard
off
of dust
as a 6 seed playing a real team and not getting a cupcake because they're probably going to match up better and play a better game against somebody with name recognition.
Yeah, and Marcus, we've talked about this time and time again. That game with Kentucky was virtually over the first half. When you spot them 39 to 19, 20 points right there, and you're playing this style of game, it's forever trying to catch up. You just can't hardly do it. You just can't. You got to keep the game close. And when teams get off to good starts, or if Tennessee gets off to a good start, then you can feel, pretty good about the game. But if they don't get off to a good start, man, you better go to the refrigerator or wherever and look for whatever the hard stuff.
How scared are you today?
Well, I wasn't scared at all, and I'm not really. I mean, they play pretty well over here, and it's I'm not really all that concerned about it. But I was shocked out of my mind because I didn't even stay up and watch Alabama and South Carolina the other night because I thought Bama would probably beat them at least 20 or 25 points, and I turn it on the next morning. It's like an overtime game, and Miller's got to score 41 points, and I'm going, holy mackerel, what's going on? This is what the number 2 team in the country being tested by South Carolina is down at the bottom. I thought that was a shock.
It was. I tell you what, South Carolina, I watched that game, and they played a heck of a game. I tell you that. You have to give Carolina a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I think Alabama looked like a dog that's got his tail hung on an electric fence. It was, he was getting hit from all angles because.
Put that in the book,
That's got to go in the book.
But he did.
That's a new one, Coach Trail.
Now I'll tell you, Charlie, we're sitting here and we're talking about because they've lost 5 out of 7 games and the concern and everything, but we're still looking at a team that's 4th in the SEC right now, 9-6, 20-8 on the year. And we're thinking, well, maybe we've gotten a little spoiled with Coach Barnes over there because we can remember the way it was before he came in here.
True.
We'd be down in the 2nd division down here wallering around. So I don't know. Maybe this is a good thing that this is happening right now. Maybe they can get it straightened out and get some momentum going into the tournament, huh? What do you think, Marcus?
Nobody wants to see them have a downturn, but if you're going to lose 5 of 7, I would rather it be the 5 of 7 right now because you're either going to pull out of it or you're going to put yourself out of contention. You're going to pull out in the next 2 weeks and straighten some things out, or you're not going to be in contention anyway, and you can let the fans down and not put them through the torture of going to the tournament with nobody feeling like you can win a game.
Yeah. Well, how much of a difference, Charlie, we got to get out of here, but how much of a difference is a 2 seed opposed to like a 4 seed in the tournament? Is there a lot of difference there or not?
I think just getting in you get in the postseason, then to me it's like when you're in that type of situation, everyone's kind of on the same level. I mean, you can lose that. You can 1 in a 16. You can still get beat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think you're in. That's the important thing. And then it's who's ever playing well, who's ever putting the basketball in the basket's going to win. And that's why a team like Tennessee, if they draw an Iona, I mean, you don't know. Iona's a good enough team there. If Tennessee shoots 30%, they can get beat.
Right.
So you don't know. But I just think the idea of getting in the tournament, then after that,
see how it plays out.
You've got to play well.
Yeah.
You've got to
take one game at a time, see what happens.
Do.
Hey, we'll take a timeout here, and when we return, the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment will be up. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, Blount County's sports voice, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered, velvety caramel macchiato, a rich, chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy, non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app, plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service.
Since 1925, Anderson Lumber in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. But did you know Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store? You can stop in anytime and see our incredible kitchen showroom. From floors to cabinets and everything in between, Anderson Lumber's experts can help you design your dream kitchen. And then our install team will make it a reality. Wow. For anything home, we welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber, since 1925.
Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and it's time for the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week segment. And Marcus, you'll be handling this. Big upset last night in tournament play, and you've got the culprits in here that put an end to Oak Ridge's season on their home court. What a win!
Yeah, I'm glad they can make it in here this morning.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an energy-intensive game.
Yeah.
Glad they could get up and join us this morning.
They created a real memory last night. They'll remember that for a long time.
You don't see many 4-1 upsets in the region tournament,
nope.
And especially this year so far. So, Coach, congratulations on the win.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
59-51 if you weren't tuning in earlier to hear Donnie's scoreboard. Coach, it was a game of runs and momentum swings, and you just had to feel good at the end of this one that you got the result you did. What was this one like for the team?
Absolutely. So we talked about the days leading up to this during practice. The team that was in the most control was going to be the team that wins the ball game, and I think we showed that. We withstood some of their runs that they went on and just continued to be in control of the ball with our ball control offensively, and then grabbing defensive boards, limiting their offensive rebounds. So just withstanding those and being the team that was most in control was huge for our girls. I thought we showed a lot of poise and a lot of composure, especially towards the second half.
Right. Well, you started off strong. Oak Ridge has a big second quarter, so you go to break down by 11, 34-23.
Mm-hmm.
Huge turnaround in the second half. And from what we could see from the Daily Times, you weren't giving any secrets away from what was said in the locker room. It sounded very blasé, like we just decided we would do this better. So give us the real deal. What did Coach have to say in the locker room at halftime?
We just talked about when we're the aggressor, we're really successful, and when we sit back on our heels and wait for stuff to happen, we're not usually. So I just gave them the option to choose. Told them, wake up, let's go. And they did a great job in the second half. One of the big adjustments we made was transitioning like our brains from breaking the press into our half-court offense and not still being in the mindset of press break when we get into the half court. So slowing it down a little bit and being in control, getting exactly what we wanted. And I think when we did that, I thought we were really successful.
Well, I was very tempted to kind of try to embarrass Jay a little bit this morning, but I'm gonna let you do it as an introduction because I'm going to read off some of these numbers. Game high 24 points. Scored 8 of the team's last 10 points, 8 of 10 at the free throw line. Basically seals that game with the 8 of the last 10 y'all score. How important was she for this? What you wanted to do last night?
Absolutely. Well, what you don't see too from the stats is her effort on the defensive boards in the first half that put their big in some foul trouble, got a lineup that we wanted in there so we could take advantage of the inside game, and then just stepped up and did what we needed to when we got her the ball. Good things happened when we got her the ball inside. But, yeah, I mean, offensively, she's got it. She did a great job second half. But, two, I think it was all created by her defensive rebounding effort in the first half.
And you've got a couple of them with you, so go ahead and tell me besides you who was the happiest last night when you came out of this one?
Out of these two or
yeah,
out of
out
all?
of these two.
I don't know. They both were pretty pumped. Coach Driver came in with some water bottles spraying everybody. So.
Well, I'll start off with Navy. Just what Coach was talking about, control of this game. Getting past what Oak Ridge was trying to do and pressure you all and play a little bit faster. How difficult is it to try to keep yourself from getting into a foot race with them?
I think we just need to remember to play our game and to slow down. And like Coach said, at halftime, stick to the game plan and do what we know is best against Oak Ridge instead of letting them speed us up. We just need to remember to slow down, like she said in the half court too, just to slow down and remember that we can get back in control of this game.
The benefit of the win, we were talking about this before you all arrived. Huge game Monday night at Bearden where you all will take on Heritage. And,
absolutely.
The winner locks up a spot in the regional championship and a state sectional spot. A lot to think about between last night and Monday for Coach. What's the game plan to get the team ready for the next 2 days?
We celebrate yesterday at midnight. It turns into getting ready for Monday, and I think just refocusing. We're going to stick to us, so not a lot's going to change. We're going to do what makes us successful, not really change a ton from the opponent's standpoint. But, yeah, I think focusing on us more than focusing on them is probably the best thing for our team right now.
One of the things that most coaches fear, and Coach Trail and I feared it as a player and he feared as a coach, is winning that big game and then the next game. Yeah. You see it in sports all the way across the board. Well, just in UT basketball, over here where Tennessee lost a game, and then here came Alabama, ranked number 1 in the country. And for some reason, it's always easier to come back from a loss than it is sometimes to come off a big game.
Yeah.
So do you think it's more mental coming off of a big game than physical? How do you approach that?
Absolutely. And I mean, we don't have a winning record, so that also, I think the biggest thing for our girls is seeing that they are capable of winning big games like that. So I hope that it's not going to be as much as a factor for us in that standpoint, because I hope that this game gives us confidence rather than bloats our heads a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, Jada, I want to talk a little bit. Third quarter was so pivotal. You all were down 11. You take a lead. Oak Ridge gets the lead back, but then you close out the third on an 8-0 run to go into the fourth with a 43-41 advantage. How much was the emotion swinging for the players on the court at that time during that, when you're up, you're down, you're chasing, you're actually trying to defend the lead? How does that affect you all?
I think it's a big adjustment. We were all it's going back and forth, so obviously we're all over the place. But I think, like Coach said, control was really important for us, and I felt like we were in control of that third quarter, even though some things were not going our way. Either they would drive and get a few foul shots or some turnovers every now and then, but I think that we responded well, and that's what kind of gave us that boost at the end of the third quarter to go into the fourth.
Free throw shooting. Most players are going to feel good about 8 of 10.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, I just kind of felt confident, stepping up to the line. I think, we practice free throws in practice. I do it on my own time. Like, I think, especially at this time of the season, like, free throws are very important because it can determine a game or not. And I think as a team, we all are shooting better from the free throw line, and I think that's going to be really important moving into this next game.
We saw Coach knock on the wood there. If you can hit them at Oak Ridge in that environment, that's got to be a confidence boost because there's not many tougher gyms to play in than what you're going to face at Oak Ridge. So I feel like you've got to take some confidence from that. Outside of, I think maybe there's one or two gyms, maybe Greenville and Seymour, that have the students behind the goal and can do some things that they can't do other places. But you got to feel kind of good about it. Talk a little bit about closing out the fourth because a lot of that went through you, and some of that was at the foul line, some of that was getting in position to take a shot. Was that kind of the focus, was to let the offense kind of flow where it was going?
Yes, we had gotten the big girl in foul trouble, so they were having a really small lineup in, and there was a lot of mismatches, and I think pick and rolls, and we would hit the lift, and I would be in the post, and thanks to my guards, they got me the ball, and either I went up for a layup or I dished it out to them. And I think on the press, we broke the press really well in the second half, and I think we got a lot of easy layups on the backside because we had guards coming on the backside and we were wide open.
Maybe talk a little bit about that. When you're doing that against the press, you're seeing some things and you're getting some things you want against that press. What were you all getting that you wanted out of that press?
Well, like Coach said, we needed to get short passes instead of long passes. I think in the first half, a lot of our turnovers on the press came from trying to throw it fully up court. But then when she told us we need to limit the long passes, keep them short, and move them quick. And I think that's what we decided to do. And especially having two of our good point guards up and good girls flashing middle, I think that's really what helped, is just quick to the side, quick to the middle, quick back. Everything that we needed was just short, quick passes.
You get to turn around on this, and it's a familiar opponent. You all know them. You've already played them twice. What do y'all take into your mind? What do you have to do on Monday night? What's the thing you have to do to try to have a good shot against Heritage?
Just play our game and know that we've played them before. They're familiar. We've played with them for years. We know that we can beat them if we stick to us and not get sped up in the game, and we know how to play them. Just play what we know.
Coach, you mentioned the team doesn't have a winning record, but they're playing well right now, and that's what counts. Is there some payoff here from some of the things some of the games you played this season?
Absolutely.
It may not have come out the way you wanted, but you're seeing them pay off now.
Absolutely. I look back at the season, and I didn't make this schedule personally, but I couldn't have scheduled it any better because we play teams like Webb that are super physical and gives us something similar to Oak Ridge. We play teams like Sevier County earlier in the season, which gives us a good look at something like Heritage. So I think some of the tougher teams that we played, we've got a crazy strength of schedule, but some of those tougher teams that we've played have prepared us for the toughest district in the state of Tennessee, which is our district.
You got the opportunity, and Coach was talking about this. It's very strange, Tennessee's format, because there's games that count and games that don't, because you make a district championship game or a region championship game, you're playing for seeding and home and away.
Right.
Because you can lose and still have another day. But this one isn't one of those. This is the one you got to get. You say you got to play your game, but who do you look for as part of your game that has to have success on Monday night?
Out of the players that we have, well, all of them, absolutely. I think it's a complete team thing, and I think that's what we saw against Oak Ridge. Yes, Jay had a great game. We did a good job of getting her the ball, but our scoring other than that was pretty even across the board, and I think that's huge for us. We had some girls in there making really good decisions, and we played some good team basketball, and I think that's what we're going to have to do against Heritage as well.
So we have this right that it's going to be at Bearden. We want to make sure we got to confirm that that's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so Give us the scoop. How do the Lady Rebels fans travel? Like, what? Should you need an entourage to show up? Do you need some to encourage some of the students to show up on Monday night?
Yeah, we'll do what we can. We'll see if we can get some pizza in there or something.
So, because we've had them on here, and apparently the most effective thing to do against Heritage is to have your student section imitate Rick Howard.
Okay, I'll make sure to note that.
Seymour pulled that off with the student section, from what we understand from some of the photos. Getting up when Rick gets up, sitting down when Rick sits down, pointing when Rick points. Apparently that has some magic effect. Rick doesn't notice it, but apparently the players do. We appreciate y'all coming in this morning. We're going to wish you the best of luck, because this is a great run to be on and a great time to be on it. We hope you can keep it going. And thanks for coming in after a big win, because we know it was a long night and getting back here late from Oak Ridge.
They wouldn't come in if they'd lost. You think they would?
They would have.
Oh no, I wouldn't get out of the bed if I got beat. I don't want to see anybody.
Well, I'll tell you that was a great win last night. That's not an easy place to play up there at Oak Ridge, and they've got great tradition in their women's program up there. They've always been strong. So.
I've covered many region tournament games between Oak Ridge and Maryville, or Oak Ridge and William Blount over the years there, and that is one of the toughest environments in the postseason.
Absolutely.
But again, congratulations on the win, and we wish you the best of luck.
Yep. We appreciate y'all for having us on. Thank you so much.
And Mike, I guess we'll go ahead and turn the page.
Okay, Mark, it's time for a break, and when we return, it's sports headlines with sports page veteran Donnie Moore and the Tennessee Smoky Spotlight. You're listening to the Goatee Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union. With KTVA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
The Bluetick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza. Made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Bluetick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Bluetick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service. For over 50.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner. And here with this week's sports headlines is Goatee Sports Page veteran Donnie Moore. And we got a few, don't we, headlines?
We do indeed. Imagine that, some headlines.
Yeah.
You know, I've dug up a few today, so let's get to them. All right. Well, this one's got a little local flavor to it. You know, I've got a few.
We like flavor.
We do like flavor. This one does have some local flavor too. Monday night's girls district championship basketball game between Fulton and Lenoir City High Schools, held at Austin East High School, ended with no fans in attendance, when an altercation among a few players broke out with under 3 minutes remaining in the game. Order was eventually restored. 4 players were ejected, and the gymnasium was completely cleared of all spectators. Only then was the game finished. Then, on Wednesday, the TSSAA handed down its verdict concerning the incident. For Fulton, a $1,000 fine and 4-game suspensions for the 3 players ejected. No plans for an appeal at this time for Fulton. For Lenoir City, a $500 fine and 2-game suspension for the 1 player that was ejected. An appeal is filed and pending at this time.
So the difference is probationarily, Lenoir City has a 1 year that costs $500.
Mm-hmm.
Because Fulton has other incidents on its record, they have 2 seasons, and it's $500 each year.
That is correct. That's what I understand. That is correct.
Isn't the Lenoir City basketball coach, isn't that Brad Cochran, former
That's
William
Wally Cochran. You're right.
Yeah, former William Blunt basketball player.
That is correct.
And from what I understand, there are additional penalties that schools have laid down that some of the parents involved are not going to be allowed to attend for several games.
You mean the parents were unruly at a basketball game?
Well, the issue,
imagine
really?
that, Charlie.
Interesting.
The issue
we never
was,
had that in a baseball game. We'd never get
the issue
unruly
was
in a
the
baseball.
parents coming onto the court while the altercation was in progress.
That's why the gym was clear, because parents got involved.
And,
really?
And we'll say, to the credit, because neither school was in charge here. This was at another school. And
it was at Austin East.
So both athletic directors agreed to having the gym cleared.
Yes.
It wasn't like this got drawn out into an argument.
No.
They saw the situation, and both ADs said,
Probably a very smart move, I would think.
I would think so, too.
Yeah.
I would think
that just made them go outside and fight.
Right.
Well,
right.
We'll take this out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Take it out.
Take it outside.
Take it outside.
Yeah, that could have happened.
Yeah.
You're right. It could have. Well, here's a sad note.
Oh, no.
Robert Nealon Jr., also known as Bob, the last surviving son of legendary Vol football coach General Robert Nealon, died Tuesday in Atlanta, Charlie, at the age of 93. Bob played football for his father and was captain of the Vol swim team in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Legendary name right there.
You better believe it.
Wait,
You kicked him, Charlie, and looked at him.
He played football for his daddy?
Yes, he did.
I didn't know he played.
He did. He was a second teamer. He never was a star, but he was captain of the Vol swim team.
Oh, well.
Yeah. But
But
he did. He was on the team.
Yeah.
You looked at Charlie and said, in Atlanta in a strange way. Are you saying something about Charlie having something to do with this?
No, I think you meant geographically.
Geographically, yeah.
I mean, you gave him a look like you thought Charlie might have had something to do with it.
No, I did not. I did not do anything to Robert Nealon.
Charlie did not deliver the firearm to someone. No.
Good Lord.
32-year-old Brittany Griner is set to return to the WNBA in time for the 2023 season. Griner, who spent 10 months detained in Russia, signed a 1-year deal with the Phoenix Mercury last Saturday worth $165,100. Phoenix is the team that originally signed Griner in 2013. Griner won't be going hungry, however, after inking a $1 million contract with Nike in January.
You know, you look at that too, but you look at the discrepancy between the men's pay in the NBA. I know it's a lot different, and the women's in the WNBA. I mean, $165,000.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's all she signed for.
Guys like, you know, LeBron James were making that for tying their shoes in the locker room.
That's a night out.
Yeah, you know, it's really it's sad because you think about the girls put a lot of time in to work on their game and get to that level, and that's what you're getting.
Well, I heard she took a huge pay cut
from playing in Russia.
Right. That's why they go over there. They can make more money playing overseas than they can over here. Yeah.
Well, University of Tennessee legend and Olympic softball pitcher Monica Abbott announced her retirement from the sport Tuesday afternoon. Abbott was named the 2007 U.S. Collegiate Softball Player of the Year and holds nearly every pitching record in Lady Vol softball history. During her Tennessee career from 2003 to 2007, she threw 23 no-hitters, Charlie, and 6 perfect games.
Yeah,
that's all right. That's not bad, is
pretty
it, Charlie?
good.
Abbott is the holder of she's the holder of the following NCAA records: 189 wins.
Oh gosh.
2,440 strikeouts, 112 shutouts, 253 appearances, 1,440 innings pitched, 724 single-season strikeouts in 2007.
Wow.
Her number 7 jersey was retired by Tennessee on March 23rd.
That's a shock.
07. She represented the U.S. Olympic team at the 2008 and 2020 Olympics and helped her team to a silver medal finish both years.
Left-hander too, right? Didn't she lefty way back?
Yeah. My question, Charlie, was with those figures, if you're on the team and you're in the – why would you even take your glove out there? I mean, would you just go out there and just stand? Or
go out there and just sit down in the outfield.
Take your headset with you and just kind of listen to music?
She was really – I mean, she was really
Have a picnic.
Good.
She was dominant.
I mean, she fired that – I mean, 70 miles an hour in softball is like
with
throwing
those numbers,
in baseball.
And she's done. She needs to fire up the female king in her court.
Yeah. Remember Eddie Feiner?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's what she needs to do. She make a lot of money right there doing that. Huh?
Yeah, well, just her and a couple players behind her.
What are Rick Barnes Vols famous for? Well, their defense, right? Typically not so in the NBA. And here's something to prove that. Sacramento Kings beat LA Clippers last night in the second highest scoring game in NBA history, Mike. They scored the game score was 176 to 175 in double overtime. The highest scoring game, any guesses? It was on December 13th, 1983. Detroit beat Denver 186 to 184 in triple overtime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's playing defense there.
I'm telling you,
Had to put 3 sets of nets up in that basketball game. Wore 3 sets out.
Had to change them twice in the middle of the game. Woo. Charlie, I want you to comment on this if you don't mind.
Okay.
Briefly. Major League Baseball rule changes have to do the 3 major ones that everybody talks about anyway are the base size, changing of the base sizes, the number of infielders on each side of second base, 2 on each side now, and the pitch clock, implementation of the pitch clock. What do you think?
I think the biggest one for me is the defensive, get rid of the defensive shifts like that.
Right.
I like the 2 players on each side of second. Both feet have to be in the dirt.
Yes.
Be in the 1 foot in the dirt. I don't know what the rule is.
Can't be all the way in the outfield.
Getting away from the softball rules where you're playing someone in short right field and have the third baseman.
No short fielders anymore.
You know, I think that's the most important thing that's going to help the game offensively. I mean, pitching-wise, the kids are dominant right now the way they throw. They need a little help more offensively. I think that'll help. But the other stuff is cosmetic, trying to speed the game up. I don't see a whole lot.
But on the other hand, the base size.
Yeah,
do you
safety.
Do you think it could lead to more steals? since it shortens the base paths a little bit by a few inches?
Well, the running game is making a little comeback. I agree a little bit. The running game is coming back a little bit. It went away for a while. Nobody cared about it.
You're
it was
right.
Stay on first base and let them hit it out of the ballpark.
True.
No one was running that much. But I think it's coming back a little bit. And it could be important.
It's
possible.
possible.
I think the main thing more is more safety with the base.
Yeah, I agree.
Why is that base safer?
Well, it just gives you a bigger area for the defender, the cover, put a foot on first base, and then you have an area for the runner to hit
18 inches instead of 15 and a half?
Yeah, it's I don't really see a big thing with that either. I didn't see how that was a problem. I really didn't.
Somebody said it looks like a pizza box.
Yeah, it's like make sure you take the little decal off.
Isn't it flatter too instead of?
Maybe because it's long. Maybe because it looks that way because it's bigger.
Yeah, probably so.
But that wasn't big for me. And the pitch clock, I can see that. Some guys are.
Oh yeah,
some hitters.
Forever.
Yeah, the hitters are just as much at fault.
Oh
but
yeah.
If I was ranking them, in order of
rank those three in importance.
It would be defensive shift, get rid of that. Then the pitch clock, and then the base size.
Everybody wants to shorten the game. Football wants to shorten the game.
Yeah,
basketball wants to shorten the game. Baseball wants to shorten the game. I know exactly how to shorten the game. Cut out all them commercials that we all got to sit through.
There you go.
Exactly
there you go.
That's the most aggravating thing. I got to switch channels to, and then it's aggravating when I go to one game and then go to another game and I'm getting two commercials going at the same time. That's even more aggravating.
Well, how about you go to the UT games and the guy with the the time clocks comes on the field and says 3 minutes 45 seconds.
Yeah,
that's how much you're going to wait before this stupid timeout.
No
he comes
kidding.
running out there.
No kidding.
And baseball is just crazy.
Well, they're going to serve beer, so you can go. That'll give you time to go get your beer.
Just a couple more short articles right here. Number one, Ole Miss has fired men's basketball coach Kermit Davis with only 3 games left in the regular season. The university announced the change yesterday morning, saying that Ole Miss and Davis mutually agreed to part ways effective immediately. Davis was considered to be a major hire for the Rebels in 2018 after 7 consecutive winning seasons and 3 NCAA tournament appearances as the head coach at Middle Tennessee State University, but has lost 9 of his last 10 games at Ole Miss, and the Rebels are already guaranteed a 3rd losing season since Davis took the reins of the program.
Mutual agreement.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Was the mutual agreement like you can go out on your own or we'll carry you out?
That's basically what they said. What they meant anyway. Assistant coach Wynn Case will finish out the remainder of the season as interim coach.
Coach Trail, that might be a good thing. You watch him on the sideline, that man's going to have a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's up and down and up and down. I mean, something would happen out there, and it looked like you'd have to bring the straitjacket down there or something put on.
Well, I tell you what, to me, basketball coaching is the hardest. You're right there on the court.
Yeah.
And all the people are behind you. I mean, you have no privacy, so to speak, to try to coach.
No, absolutely.
And it's tough. It's tough.
Well,
I mean, and you got people sitting right next to you.
Yes, you do.
And I don't know how you coach. Well,
with your hands in your pockets.
Yeah, with your hands in your pockets.
I guess you do that.
Charlie,
that's it.
How many bags of sunflower seeds is a baseball coach required to go through in a game to meet contract obligations?
Mark, you can have as many. Well, it used to be bags of tobacco is what it used to be. They got rid of that.
True.
So
they
it's
had to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's do that or pull your hair out. Rod Snicker doesn't have any hair left.
It seems like
you can't even spit on the mound.
It seems like the dugouts around baseball should have like huge sunflower gardens growing out.
But I always had a problem with this. I can only eat one at a time. These guys put like a whole bag in their mouth.
They put a wad in there and then spit them like machine guns.
Yeah, I could never do that. I was a one at a time guy. That's all I could do.
All right, a little something different today. I got a trivia question for you. Got a trivia question. It's true or false, so you got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. True or false? The Pittsburgh Steelers are the only team to win 3 consecutive Super Bowls. Is that true or false?
True.
What do you think, Marcus?
Yes.
He's got to be difficult.
What do you think?
I'm saying false.
I say false.
Mike says false.
San Francisco, Joe Montana, maybe? I don't know.
What's the answer?
It is false. Dallas and New England have both won 3 in the span of 4 years, but no team has won 3.
Okay, what does Charlie and I win? What do we win?
You win the
a donut. We got a donut.
You get a donut. You get a donut. That's
Dunkin'
right.
Long-time sponsor,
a
Dunkin' Donut.
Marcus ate all the good ones. There's
that's
nothing
as
left.
close as any team has ever come.
There's a couple chocolate ones in
No
there.
team has done it.
Okay.
I'll be dead young.
Yeah.
Well, that messed my day.
That's all for this week's sports headlines. Now let's bring the Tennessee Smoky spotlight into focus. Back to you, Gunner.
And I want to announce this. We're gonna have more on this as we go through the spring. But the sports page is going to present the Blount County Sports Award Program for all the athletes, and they're going to expand it. It's going to be held at the Clayton Center May 17th this year.
That's right.
Brian Johnston at Go Tees is
our boss,
the chief organizer. It's not the first time this has been done, but Brian's taking it to a new level.
Oh,
Charlie,
big
good
time.
that you're here this morning because it was your idea for us to have this to start with.
Yeah, way back.
Back in the day, and it was highly successful. We did it for, I guess, 3 years or so here at Go Tees, and it was well received, and Brian liked the idea, so we're going to take the beginning here and expand the awards ceremony, and it's going to be a big deal, Charlie.
I think it's great. I think the idea of recognizing the local athletes at the end of the year and teams, and I know we used to do the what was it we had for the
XL Awards.
Yeah.
Yes, the
what
XL
we called
Awards.
it. Yeah.
But we gave away 1, 2 to like a veteran, like a community person.
Yeah.
Like I forget what we called it.
Right.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Lifetime Achievement.
Anytime you can recognize people, I think it's nice. And
Yeah.
this is a great idea. It should be really nice.
He's taking in everything, all sports, all the county schools. I mean,
we're recognizing everybody from bands to.
He's not going to leave anybody out.
No,
nobody.
Absolutely.
This is going to be. I'll tell you what this is going to be. This is going to be the Academy Awards of Blount County sports. This is going to be a big thing for the coaches and the athletic directors and the schools and the players. Brian is putting a lot of money in this. This is going to be a fascinating thing.
Sure is.
He's going to make a lot of
great evening.
Academy Awards of high school sports right here in Blount County, and so deserving with the outstanding sports programs we have here in Blount County.
And this is taking it to a new level.
Yes,
I mean, having it at this place is making it really nice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I like this community award named for Chris Hauser. Hauser Volunteer Award. That's a neat thing right there. That'd be good to.
Sure is.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back with former UT assistant football coach Ray Trail, longtime sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Blount County Sports Hall of Famer Donnie Moore, and ex-Atlanta Brave pitcher and Blount County Hall of Famer Charlie Paleo. And let's talk a little bit about Tennessee baseball because we got some news over there, Charlie. Tony Vitello here yesterday, I guess, suspended, I guess, for some recruiting violations, and they have not expounded on any of that as of now. But what are you making out of all this with him?
Well, from what I understand, it all circles around the outstanding transfer player out of Kansas, the shortstop. Donnie, you may know how to pronounce his name. I don't. But he's supposed to be a great player, transferred out of Kansas and came over to UT. But supposedly, Coach Vitello made contact with him before the transfer. He got his name in the transfer portal, which is against the rules. And that's where the problem is. And supposedly someone in the Southeast Conference reported it. Another coach at another team. And, you want to be in the spotlight like they've been the last few years. This is what happens. People look to come after you a little bit.
You're right.
And
that's the word on the street.
Yes.
Officially, the university has no comment on the situation.
Well,
they will talk to us on Monday with an explanation.
Well, let me ask you this.
Thank you, Marcus.
Is this a minor, major violation? But the reason I asked that is what's going on over there with the football program right now, and what the NCAA is dealing with the Jeremy Pruitt situation. I'm sure that the UT administration really doesn't want this happening with what's going on in football right now with the NCAA. Is that going to make this situation worse for Tony Vitello, depending on what we've got going on here or not?
No.
I don't think it's
I
that
don't
big
think
a
it
deal.
will.
I think it's a minor. It's a minor infraction.
Yeah.
I think
And
UT's being very cautious.
Okay.
But
I don't think he'll do anything. He's just going to sit out 3 games.
Well, yeah. What's he missing? They're going to beat. They're beating everybody 21-2 right now. He's not going to miss everything.
I mean,
we can go coach
it's
that
just
team.
being safe and preemptory.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a major violation unless there's more to it than what's been rumored at
Well,
this
they
point.
said it in the paper it was a minor situation.
Yep.
And he misses the weekend.
Well, I think we all think we know what it was, but then again, like I said, the university said they would not talk to us about it till Monday. So,
Well, the thing that's bigger in all this too, Marcus, is the kid's not playing either. The
kid's not. He's not received his NCAA clearance, and that's the only other kind of question mark is is there a possibility there's something more than what we think it is.
Charlie, the baseball team went out west. They lost 2 out of 3 out there. They're back home. They've won 3 straight here. They beat swept Alabama, A&M, and Dayton. And golly, I'm adding up the runs here: 33, 45, 45-3 or something like that in runs.
I don't have that many fingers and toes.
And there's a lot of cupcakes between now and the SEC schedule. Are we going to learn much about this baseball team until we get to the SEC, or is there any concern because they lost 2 or 3 out west, or where are we at?
I am concerned. Not, we know their pitching is there. I mean, they've got probably maybe the number 1 pick in the country next year in Dolander. That's going to be there. Offensively is where I'm concerned. I mean, they lost a lot of punch out of the lineup from last year. And they're counting on the big first baseman, and he looked very manageable from a left-handed pitcher to a big left-handed hitter. If he doesn't hit like he did last year, their lineup is a lot easier to go through than it was last year. And I think that's the question mark.
Yeah.
Why would a guy be a good player last year and not a good player this year?
Well, a lot depends. This kid was really good in limited play last year. He wasn't a starter, so I mean the pressure wasn't on. Now you're hitting 4th every day, and now a lot more you're counting on to do.
Yeah,
I see.
Charlie, you weren't here last week, but Troy was. I got his dandruff up a little bit, saying that one of the problems that they're trying to work through with the baseball program is the fact that they're trying to overcome that loss to Notre Dame last year that kept him from going to Omaha.
Absolutely. I mean,
he didn't like that very much.
Would you say that was one of the biggest upsets of the year in college sports?
I was shocked.
Absolutely.
I was just absolutely
shocked. Here's a team that was untouchable for the whole year.
Yeah. And now we've got this year's team and all that success with last year's team and the disappointment right there at the end. That's a lot for this team to live up to, too, isn't it? A lot of expectations. Are the fans expecting this team to be just a carry-on to what they saw last year?
Oh, no doubt, and I don't disagree with that at all. I also think, the thing is, too, now these teams are not, Tennessee's not going to slip by anybody anymore. I mean, they're out to get them. After after the stuff all the stuff that went on the field last year, I mean, there's a target on their back, and they want to give them everything they can. So they have to be aware of that too, I think.
It seems to me like Coach Barnes and Vitello needs to go to the football coach and sit down and talk to him about offense. You're concerned about their hitting. The basketball team was all defense. The baseball team looks like they're going to be pitching. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of grinding going on right there, isn't there? Are we a defensive school here? Where are we at?
Well, have you seen our football team? Seriously.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go talk to the football coach. We get this deal over on the other side of the coin.
Well, Marcus was trying to stir up something before about pitching and basketball, but I think in baseball it's a little different than basketball. I think pitching really and defense can win you games.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
I think absolutely
compared to basketball.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think they should take the football coach and make him the basketball coach, and take the basketball coach and make him the football coach.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
No. We're going to make the basketball coach the baseball coach. The baseball coach.
Boy, that'd be good. Yeah. Did you see that 5-yard gain we had in that last ball game? Boy, I'll tell you what, that was exciting.
3 yards in a cloud of
Yeah,
dust.
and we threw it 3 times, huh? One of them was all the way down the field.
For the whole game.
For the whole game.
Okay.
Coach Trail, I'll tell you what.
Well, I was just trying to speed up the basketball. And we put the football coach on the basketball because he likes to score.
Yeah.
So I mean, and make the basketball make a defensive better on defense.
Yeah. Charlie, real quick, conference-wise, NCAA-wise, where you see this team going this year?
Tennessee?
Expectations going in.
I still think it's up in the air. I mean, this whole preseason stuff to me is like exhibition baseball in the professional ranks. You won't know until they start playing the SEC competition.
Yeah.
They'll go as far as their 3 top pitchers take them.
Yeah.
I mean, if those 3 guys are on their game, they'll be right there.
And injuries. Injuries
Yes.
always play a part in everything, all sports. Sure. Hey, it's time for a break, and when we return, the panel presents their Shelter Insurance Bowl predictions. You're listening to the Goatee Sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at StevensonTire.net.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today: call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Mike Edwards, and I'm here along with Coach Ray Trail, Marcus Fitzsimmons, Charlie Paleo, and Donnie Moore.
Mike, you need to hurry this one up because the pizza's cooking and it's beginning to smell really good in here.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do the best we can.
Blutick's is smelling like a pizza place right now.
Yeah. Coach Trail, this past Thursday, the Lady Vol basketball team took on #1 ranked South Carolina over here at the arena, and they ended up losing 73-60, but the first half was pretty close. They was only down 4 at the half, and I guess they stayed in the game because they packed everybody back in the paint, tried to stop Elijah Boston, and she had 11 points, but the three-pointers hurt them second half.
Yeah.
And
Third
quarter, South Carolina came out and busted the game open. That was pretty much it.
It took them out of the game totally.
Yep.
Totally.
Yep. Charlie, Tennessee jumped out 19-10. Looked like everything was working. Surprised a lot of people, and then it just kind of fell apart the third quarter especially.
Yeah, South Carolina went on a 17-0 run that turned the game around. It was just typical this year for Tennessee basketball against a ranked team. They have yet to beat a ranked team.
Yep.
And Coach Trail and I were just talking. They've got 2 players.
That's right.
You give them their points, and if nobody, you shut down everybody else, you know, they score 50 points, and it's a loss.
Yeah, the 2 players, Horston and Jackson, they're consistent.
Yeah.
You know, they'll score game in, game out, but then everybody else is inconsistent. You can't count on anybody else. You don't know if anybody else can give
That's
you.
what I say. You can't play 2 against 5.
Yep, that's tough.
You know, we kind of over the years, last few, we've kind of bashed that big girl over there, the key girl that's not playing. You know, but they do miss her.
Oh yeah.
They do a little inside presence. You know, she can score a little bit and block some shots, and I think that hurts them too.
Yeah.
Well, it was very obvious. South Carolina, they went in at the half by 3 or 4 points, but they realized that Tennessee was sinking on the big girl inside, and they just started shooting outside.
Yep.
And bam, bam. And
They adjusted really well.
Yeah.
And they have players that can score.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parity in the Southeastern Conference in women's basketball, but not many teams are ranked. They only got 2 ranked, South Carolina and LSU right now. Tennessee's 12-3 in the league and 20-10 overall. Most of those losses, Charlie, came earlier in the season. And they played pretty well against ranked teams. They played Stanford, a good game. Connecticut overall, they played them pretty good. Played South Carolina pretty good. But as you said, didn't beat anybody that's ranked, and I'm sure that's the reason they're not in the top 25. Huh?
You know, Kelly Harper was making comments about, you know, SEC is getting a bad deal, about they're such a good league. They're so close. The parity is there. You know what the parity is? They're not good.
Right.
They're all not good except for LSU and South Carolina. They're not good.
They're equally not good.
I've been watching. I've been watching a lot of the Big 12 and Big 10 girls, especially watching a little girl from Maryville playing for Iowa State right now.
Oh yeah.
Those teams out there would run these SEC teams out of the gym. Iowa.
Yeah.
Have you seen that girl in Iowa, Caitlin Clark's having 28 points a game. You got LSU and South Carolina.
Rest of them throw them in a pile.
Get them out, absolutely.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't see it. Maybe Ole Miss at times can play a little bit, but they don't have a big girl.
Marcus, can you see this Lady Vol program as we talk right here? Do you see this program, 3rd place finish in the SEC? You're looking at the picture there, respectable finish there. Not what tradition wants the program to be, or probably the Lady Vol fans want the program to be. They want it to be at the South Carolina level and the LSU level right now. But do you see this program moving forward, staying about the same, or going down in the future, starting with next year?
I think you've got the basis for this program to make a return to the upper tier. I'd base that solely on the word of a 14-year-old girl making a commitment to the Lady Vols.
Well,
but,
that's 3 years away.
But she looks like such a generational player, and there's a lot that can happen when she's in high school. But right now, she looks like the type of player that could have coattails and bring UT's recruiting.
Who is this, Marcus?
It's the 8th grader out of California that's the number
she's
one
in
in
Texas, isn't she?
Well, her AAU teams, I think, South California.
Yeah.
Wow.
But she lives in Texas.
Yeah, but she's been playing on a high school team since she was 10 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall now in the 8th grade.
Really?
Charlie, where this program is right now, can Kelly Harper and her staff recruit the type of players that will get them into that national picture again?
I don't think to be honest, I don't think she has so far. Now, talking about this girl right here, maybe down the road.
Yeah.
I understand next year, if I may be incorrect, but I'm sure this is what I've heard, they have nobody coming in yet next year.
Yeah.
No one.
And they've got some losses.
Yeah. So, can she? She hasn't so far.
Yeah.
Horston is a Holly Warlick girl, I believe. And the other girl's a transfer from Mississippi State, Jackson.
Yep.
So where's her great players? I don't see it.
All right. 3rd place finish in the league, 2010, probably going to win out. 21 wins, maybe, 22 wins. Tournament, we don't know what she's going to do in the tournament. A raise for Kelly Harper, contract extension?
It might. Well, she's a Tennessee girl, and that's the thing that, kind of holds her there a little longer. But I think, but be truthful, you said it, only 2 teams in this conference, and the rest of them are throw them in a hat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nobody more. Those two teams is all we got.
Yeah. Well, he mentioned that Kelly Harper's a Tennessee girl. There's also another Tennessee girl that's not too far from here that's doing pretty well, and that's Carol Lawson. She's at Duke, and she's 25-4, Charlie.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at I'm not a big social media guy, but I do once in a while hit that Twitter and see what they comments. I mean, they're not kind to Kelly Harper. Mm-mm. The fans are not right now. And even Rick Barnes now is in the doghouse too. But Harper is getting a lot of heat, and she's got to do something in the postseason, I think, to warrant any kind of extension, or an increase in pay, I would think.
Yeah. Well, I would think that with Carol Lawson over there and where Duke is right now, that might be an albatross on her shoulder.
But are they going to? If you're Tennessee, though, are you saying we've already had Holly Warlick, we've got Kelly Harper? Do we go to the UT family again, or do we go outside?
Well, if Troy's here, he's going. It's over. It's over. Get somebody else in here. It's over.
Well,
so I don't know.
I tell you what, if they would forget our past coaching and what we've done in the past, and leave Pat out of it, and we got to move forward.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing this. Pat this and Pat that and everything else. We got
look at the outstanding coaches UCLA's had out there since John Wooden's left, and what they've been fighting out there. Mm-hmm. And I think they've won one national championship out there since John Wooden. Oh, did Larry Brown or somebody else?
This is the thing. You've got to play the game and the teams that are on the court with you as a coach. You can't play the rafters. You can't play those banners. There's nothing you can do to play those banners.
That's what I say. We need to take down a lot of
this fan base is never going to – there's never going to be another Pat. You're never going to see a team that dominant in women's basketball again.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen.
You look at Bear Bryant at Alabama, how long did it take them to square around after
Forever.
him? They went through coaches, and they got old players to coach, and it went through. It takes a while to
and Bob Knight up at Indiana.
Yeah, you just go where the great ones have been, and you follow them. And I tell you what, now it's a tough go.
And look what's going on right now at North Carolina.
Yeah,
in basketball,
Lord
they got true. And the guy at Duke's doing a pretty good job, but he's not doing what Krzyzewski did over there. They hadn't even been in the top 25 most of the year. Let's talk about Alabama real quick here, Marcus, the Brandon Miller situation down there.
Do we have to?
All right, we got to.
Okay.
We got to. Everybody's talking about bad look for Alabama, bad look for Nate Oates, bad look for the athletic director, bad look for Alabama president, bad look for the SEC, or not a bad look at all.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you my personal.
Okay.
My personal 2 cents is the state of Alabama in general suffers from a lack of print publications. There are a ton of internet publications. There's TV. They have an ESPN presence because of Alabama football. But the number of print papers in Alabama is significantly less than it is in the state of Tennessee and most other states. You don't have a gaggle like you do that is held to the rules of reporting like you see in a lot of places. Things get sensationalized, things get a narrative, things get carried by out-of-town markets. That is hurting Alabama because this story at its base of what we know at this point does not sound as bad. And I'm not saying about the shooting part. I'm talking about the Miller portion of this story.
Yeah.
It sounds like he did something dumb and brought somebody something, but, I mean, it wasn't like he was taking somebody, providing weapons, dealing arms, or anything. I mean, it's carrying a narrative that doesn't really match up with what the actual facts of the story seem to be. It seems like it's being sensationalized a bit.
Yeah.
Well, anytime you have a top player do anything, you're going to be sensationalized. I mean, that's.
Well, this thing is getting more attention than a lot of things. I mean, if you remember back, it was 10 years ago. We had players arrested in Tennessee with drugs and guns in the car.
You're the number one team in the country, and your best player is involved with a gun. Now, that's going to get headlines. I don't give a dadgum where.
Yeah, that's the problem. Regardless of what happened with that gun, it was just a matter that The gun was there.
That's right.
Wasn't his gun, but he had the gun. Brought the gun, and I don't think it's
Well,
the end.
that's what I
don't
mean.
think it's the end of the story.
Is when that portion first came out, it was he supplied the weapon.
Yes.
It made it sound like it was his weapon.
Right. Donnie Moore, you're over there jumping up and down. You don't have your hands in your pocket like Coach Trail, but blow the whistle. Hey, that'll do it for today's edition of the Sports Page. Thanks to Aaron Ishmael at Loud Media, our host, the Bluetick Tavern, and all our sponsors. And Charlie Paleo, thanks for coming in today. It's good to see you again, huh?
Yeah, too. It's always good to be back with the boys.
Yeah. For Donnie Moore, Ray Trail, Marcus Fitzsimmons, and Troy Provo-Heron, until next Saturday, this is Mike Edwards, the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports.